For our content analysis, we decided to study the influence of social media on online newspapers. This topic is prevalent to our society because more people are choosing to access their news online rather than in traditional formats, and as a result, online newspapers are using social media to interact with readers. This led us to formulate our research question: what is the relationship between the topic of an article and the amount of social media attention it receives?
These are the 10 hypotheses that we used to further investigate our research question. Each of these 10 hypotheses had the same dependent variable of social media interest. Social media interest was broken down into 4 sections: likes, comments, shares, and tweets. Because the dependent variable used in all 10 hypotheses have 4 parts, our study ultimately consists of 40 hypotheses. In order to fully test these hypotheses, we coded 18 independent variables for the overarching dependent variable testing for social media interests. These variables consisted of day of the week, geographic location of the news event and the newspaper, content in the article, the position of the story on the home page, the rank of the newspaper, the tone of the headline, presence of an image, article length, presence of a video, and the font size of the article's headline.
When coding these variables, we looked at the top 100 U.S. newspapers by circulation rates according to a list compiled by Wikipedia. We found some of these variables by looking at homepages such as this, and then further investigated our hypotheses by clicking on each headline to measure our dependent variables to find how many times it has been liked, shared, commented on, or tweeted. Over a consecutive 7-day time frame, we collected a sample size of 1,706 using non-probability purposive sampling.
Our study found these 3 significant findings. The first key significant finding of this study is not particularly surprising. We found evidence to support our hypothesis that newspapers higher on the list of news sites would portray a larger social media platform from its viewers. Specifically, we found significant evidence to support 3 of our 4 levels we use to determine social media interest: likes, comments, and tweets. The number of likes, comments, and tweets all decreased as the rank of the newspaper decreased. Because the list of the top 100 newspapers was formed based on circulation rates, the ones lower on the list may be less popular and have less money for funding. Therefore, the fact that the less popular and less funded newspapers do not receive as much social media interest is fairly predictable. This study's second key significant finding supported our hypothesis that news stories with images accompanying their headlines on the newspaper homepages would portray an increase in social media interest when compared to those without. Specifically, we found evidence to support 2 of the 4 levels we use to measure social media interest: shares and tweets. This means that viewers were more likely to share and tweet articles that contained an image along with their headlines on the homepage. This finding is also fairly predictable, as a stark or interesting picture besides a headline could very likely make viewers read the article to learn the significance of the picture and share interesting pictures with their friends on Facebook or on their Twitter timeline.
The study's last key significant finding supported our hypothesis that articles with a longer word count would reflect a lesser amount of social media than shorter articles. Specifically, we found evidence to support 2 of the 4 levels we use to measure social media interest: comments and tweets. This means that as the articles grew in length, less people commented and tweeted on it. This is just one of the many factors that can influence why a person does or does not comment on or tweet about an article. Because so many factors influence why a person does or does not comment on or tweet about an article, we cannot say with absolute certainty that an article length determines whether or not people will use social media to comment on or tweet about longer articles. We can only state that we found significant evidence to support that as the articles get longer, the amount of comments and tweets decreases. Future research could be conducted on how long of an article people are willing to read and comment on before becoming bored from reading. Our content analysis further enhanced the literature on online newspapers by studying how the rise and availability of social media outlets increases interactivity between the newspaper and its readers.
Thanks
for watching!